What is it that you focus on? What is it that you zoom in your lens on? What's the things that you constantly think about? What's the things that you spend your time doing? You spend your money on, you spend your resources, you spend all these things on. What is it that you focus on? What are the lenses that you look through life at? Because each one of us, you know what? We focus on some stuff. You know what focus is really another word for? Focus, AKA worship. And we all worship something. Everybody out there. Of course, if you would consider yourself a Christian or a Christ follower, you would say, yeah, man, I follow God, I worship Christ. You know, some of you would say that. Some of you might not say that. But the bottom line is all of us worship something. We focus on something. Why? Because we were made to. That's how God created us. We were created to worship. And many times when we don't worship the right thing, Him, and having a relationship with Him, then our focus ends up going on something else. But regardless, we still worship. You know what? Some people, they worship their job. Some people worship their house. They worship their car. They worship that celebrity. They worship somebody. They worship their kids maybe. You know, not that any of those things are bad, but when you put your full focus on those things, and that's the center of your attention, that's when it gets a little off. So as you're checking this out for these last couple minutes we got next tonight, I just want to challenge you. Hopefully I can make you think a little bit. Maybe you can readjust your lenses, because all of us need that sometimes. Our lenses kind of get a little blurry. We can't really see the picture, and we need that readjustment so we can focus back in on the things that really matter, on the things that are really important. And I found that to be my relationship with God. And that's not just what I found, that's reality, that's facts. I tried to do all these other things and life continually was blurry and I couldn't really see, I couldn't focus until I said, all right, God, here's my lens. My hands are on it, now put your hands on it and help me readjust it so I can see you. And you know what I found? As I began to build a relationship with Him and dig into His Word, dig into the Scriptures, found that we're created to worship Him. And that's why, like, any song you listen to on the radio or any song you watch on a music channel, it's worshiping something. And you know what? A lot of hip-hop that's out there, unfortunately, worships a lot of the wrong things. It worships rims, it worships some ice, it worships women, it worships stuff, material things. It's definitely worshiping something. Listen to a lot of songs on the radio, love songs that might be worshiping another person or worshiping lust or, you know, whatever. But it's worshiping something because we were created to worship. And what we do, the way we live our life, it shows what we focus on. But you know what? Each one of us, man, we were created to worship God. That's the real thing we were created to focus on. And I know some of you out there, you're watching this maybe, and maybe you go to church sometimes. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you haven't ever been to church, or maybe it's been a long time. Maybe you think church is boring or it's not relevant. Or you might say this, you might say, you know what? I don't really get anything out of church. You know what? When you go to church, it's really supposed to be for God. We're going there for Him. We're going to worship Him. And many times we can get it mixed up and we think that the person that's on the platform, whether they're singing or rapping or preaching or speaking or praying a prayer or whatever, whoever's up front, they are almost like the performer and you're just there to watch and they have to entertain you. But that's not really what church is. That's not what the focus of it is if we look at it through God's lenses. You know what? Everybody that goes to a church service, everybody that's there, they're all part of the cast. They're all participants. You know, and who are we there? Who are we there worshiping? Who is the audience? It's an audience of one. It's God. We're there to worship Him. So that doesn't matter whether you're sitting in the 15th row or the front row, or if you're on the platform, or if you're singing, or we're all there to worship God. And when you can begin to readjust your lenses and realize that, you can begin to look at church as a different thing, a different experience. You're there for God. And of course, you're going to get something out of it when you have that mindset and you readjust your lenses and you realize, I'm not going for me, you're going for God. And as you worship Him and receive, and it's like, then, wow. And to realize, like, your everyday life, it's a lifestyle. Like Romans 12, my man Paul, He says, man, your everyday, ordinary life, just you're sleeping, you're eating, you're walking around, you're going to work, that is a form of worship, because that's what we focus on. Whatever we're doing, that's usually what we're focused on. So learn to focus on God, learn to readjust your lens and focus on your Creator. And when you do, He's going to begin to show you some things that you could have never dreamed or imagined of. And He's going to show you some things that He has for you to do that maybe you never thought you could do. You're going to discover so many new things as you readjust your lenses on the Creator and focus on Him. So man, I encourage you guys tonight, take some inventory of your life. Think about, what are the things that I spend my time, my money, my talent, my thoughts, what are the things I always think about or focus on? And then try to line that up and say, are those things pleasing to God? Are those things that God wants me to do? Think about that tonight. And if you got any prayer requests, you got any comments, you want to holler at us, check us out at the website, check us out at the MySpace, and all the crew here, We Got Next, man, we're praying for y'all and praying that God tonight, as you were watching the show, He was readjusting your lenses. And I pray that this week and every day of your life, man, you're going to continually have your hands on that lens and invite God to continually adjust things so you can see a clearer and clearer picture of Him and what He has for you. I'm out. God bless.